Hi everyone, Coffany Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Bleachers record, Take the Sadness Out of Saturday Night. This is a brand new record from singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, in-demand producer Mr. Jack Antonoff. This being his third record under the Bleachers name, his first for this decade, and it'll be interesting to see what the next 10 years for Jack holds, considering how dominant he was in the 2010s. There was his last record with Fun, a couple of Bleachers records with great singles on them. He's also become a go-to producer for the likes of Lorde, Taylor Swift, St. Vincent, and now he's a Grammy winner 5 times over. So yeah, there just seems to be no stopping Jack at this point, and there's even some really impressive material on this new LP too, which in his own words is an album about joy and rejecting feelings of negativity, depression, boredom, and for the most part, this album feels like that, yeah. Especially on tracks like How Dare You Want More and Stop Making This Hurt, which are really two of my favorite singles of the year. The former feels like a collaboration between Elvis Costello, Paul Simon, and David Byrne, backed up with some big city saxophones. The sax and guitar trades over the bridge of the song are fantastic. This is easily one of the most exuberant and rockin' tracks I've heard in 2021. Then Stop Making This Hurt is a true blue anthem with its glossy pianos, booming drums, grand chorus vocals, and it's an anthem with a purpose too, kind of begging the world to let up with all of the just discontent and hatred, pain and suffering. And there aren't just big sounds on this LP, but some big names too. The song Secret Life sports a Lana Del Rey appearance, although it is a subtle one, with Jack singing really intimately over this warm, relaxed Velvet Underground style instrumental, and as the track progresses, he subtly adds more layers that are a bit more spacious to bring the song body and dynamics, namely that Lana background vocal and some of those wailing guitar tones. And I like the lyrics of the song a lot too. It's all about finding solace and serenity for a love or some kind of intimacy to grow and just be fostered. Then there's Bruce Springsteen on Chinatown. Now Bruce has long been an influence on Jack's music, a huge one, so I imagine this is a pretty huge moment for him, but in listening to this track as like an initial teaser to this record, I was not crazy about it. Mostly because of the abusive amount of effects and reverb laced into this thing. The vocals and instrumentation sound so blobby and smudged and not in an experimental or interesting way. It's like listening to My Bloody Valentine produce a Springsteen ballad and completely smother the song out in the process. Now granted, I enjoy the track a bit more now, or I appreciate it more now than I did when I first heard it, but I don't know if that's because it's grown on me or because I'm offended even more by the increased levels of effects and delay on the song Big Life. Why does everything on this song sound so springy and disorienting, and the volume is constantly changing with certain elements of the mix too, to the point that it kind of hurts to listen to. I'm kind of blown away that a track of this like audio quality and production quality is on the same record as some of the other tracks here. This just seems like too far gone. Don't Go Dark is more pure Springsteen worship, though there's not so much delay on it that it ruins the track. And for some reason, the exaggerated vibrato of Jack's voice and the yelpiness of his singing too kind of reminds me of like Spencer Krug of Wolf Parade fame, which is not a bad thing. I'm just saying it's kind of an interesting vocal delivery to hear over this almost like jangly arena rock style sound. Then with the last leg of this LP, the momentum really begins to trail off as the instrumentals get more mellow, more skeletal, and this change in pace does come a little as a shock considering the pacing of the songs just prior, and I guess how short this album is overall. In terms of flow, it's a very quick turn down. There's the Acoustic 45, which I think is a quality tune for sure. Jack gives a fiery vocal and, acoustic guitar performance on this track, but it's one that he puts so much heart in, I can't help but, as I'm listening to it, just imagine how a full band would sound behind it, because it's a pretty gutsy, again, performance on the song, and it just seems like, I don't know, only halfway done with it being as stripped back as it is. Then the refined and gorgeous orchestrations on the track Strange Behavior are quite nice, but I feel like this song only adds to this feeling of, aesthetically, this whole record just being like a hodgepodge of sounds and production and sound qualities and instrumental palettes. The opening and closing tracks, songwriting-wise, are almost like motifs that are underscored by layers of horns or strings, and they're both pleasant while they're on, but neither of them do a great job of setting the tone for the record or closing up shop so succinctly that it feels like we're having a strong moment of finality here. Look, there are some great tracks on this thing, and for the songs that aren't so great, there are at least some really good ideas and intentions backing all of them up. But the full potential of this LP is still severely kneecapped by a complete and utter lack of focus, consistency, and quality control. This whole thing feels like I'm listening to a compilation more than an album, which is kind of odd because I got the sense from previous Bleachers records as well as Jack's work with other artists that he is a bit more methodical than he is showing himself to be here. Feeling a light to decent 6 on this one. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head, it's another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, music, Jack Antonoff. Forever.